Hey, there's a huge mindset shift that occurs when your disabled child leaves the school system and becomes an adult. And that's what I want to talk about today. My name is Lisa Leitner. Welcome to Don't IEP Alone, my simple little podcast about IEPs. I was tempted to wear a Phillies shirt today, go Phils, but then sometimes that stuff just doesn't age so well. So, whenever you are listening to this or watching it, just know that the reason I'm wearing my red glasses and my red sweatshirt is because right now we are feeling good about our Phillies. Okay, so I want to talk about, and I know I harp on parents and I nag parents and I wag my finger about this whole piece about transition. And if you don't take ownership of your child's transition, they will get left behind and all that. But I just fielded two more questions this week from parents who are looking for an advocate for their ISP. When you get into the adult system, it's called an ISP, which is an individual or individualized service plan. It's not an IEP. It's a service plan. Sounds similar, right? Okay, so what? So it's just an ISP. I can learn a new acronym. You have to learn a whole new mindset shift. And the mindset shift is this. It goes from entitlement to eligibility. Let that sink in for a second. Entitlement to eligibility. Your child is not entitled to any participation, any inclusion, any programming, any residence, any job, any vocational program, vocational training, recreational program. Your child is no longer entitled to these things. These programs are eligibility based, and that really matters. My child is an adult, and because I'm so hyper aware of everything that needs to be done, I have started, we started a couple of years ago looking for things because my son also has very high needs. We knew that on his best day, fine. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to keep playing with my hair, but it just, I'm in so much need of a haircut and I just keep forgetting to text her. Anyway, it looks like it's terrible. Um, we've been looking for things because of Kevin's high needs and wait lists and things like that. We've been searching for things now for a couple of years. And here's what we're finding. You might find a post high school job training program, any of those things, even if, and I know that they're highly controversial, even if you say you find a sheltered workshop and you're like, yeah, that's what I want for my kid. They'll be safe. I'm okay with this, blah blah blah. They don't have to take your child. It's eligibility based. So, your child has behaviors, we don't do that here. Does your child sometimes hit people? Sorry, you're not welcome. G-tube? Mm-mm. Toilet train? Not toilet train? Mm-mm. We don't take not toilet trained. Nonverbal? Not so much. They can exclude your child. Your child is not entitled to participate in any of these programs anymore. So people are asking me, do you also advocate for that? Do you? Yeah. Yes, our kids are always going to need advocacy. Those who cannot advocate, particularly those who cannot advocate for themselves, but even those who can advocate for themselves, as our family and our loved ones, we get on board with them and we help them and we advocate for them. But it's different because you're not kind of arguing or discussing with a group of people like, hey, my kid's entitled to this and this is what I think it looks like, because that's basically what IEP advocacy is that you're deciding on what FAPE is for that child, and you're just trying to come to an agreement at the IEP table. I think this is FAPE. Well, no, we think this is FAPE. You're not entitled to FAPE as a 22-year-old. And I know Michigan, I think Michigan is 25 or 26, but I think they're the only one. You're not entitled to anything as a 22-year-old or as an adult. So I'm not saying don't advocate for them, and don't maybe try to talk them into it. But if they don't think this program, or whatever it is that they're offering, if they don't think it's a good fit, that your child will be a successful participant, they don't take you. And this is why, even though my child he's 19 now, but this is why we started this 2 or 3 years ago. Because if you're looking for a program that takes kids with behaviors, nonverbal, tube fed, not toilet trained, elopers, um, things like that. If you're looking for those kinds of programs, they are very, very difficult to find. And yes, you can advocate for your child, but no, they are not legally required to take them. So the advocacy is a little bit different. Now, my child goes to school, and he's in 13th grade, so to speak. Um, he has been at the same school since he's in kindergarten. He had a bunch of different preschools because our preschool, I didn't know what I was doing enough then to get him where he needed to be. So he was actually in three different preschools. Anyway, um, he's in 13th grade now. I've been there since his kindergarten. So this is essentially his 14th year there. It makes no sense to me whatsoever that we take these kids and his classmate and his schoolmates and all these kids who are his same age. And he has been with these kids forever. He doesn't know any different. He's been taking, the same van company, the same route, the same school now for this is year 14, and it'll go 15 and 16. He's been surrounded by the same staff. They have much lower turnover as a private school compared to the others. So I'm just trying to say that this is all he knows, right? And these are kids like him who struggle the most with transitions, who struggle the most with new things, new environments, and who struggle the most to find kind of like their place in the world. And so now he will have been at this place for 16 years, all day, every day. And the day before he turns 22, we're just going to say, bye, good luck to you. Hope it works out. It doesn't make sense to me that we just rip these kids out of their environment and just, hey, good luck. I have been working with my state rep to hopefully develop some kind of program that mimics. I don't understand why we can't just continue this model. Like, we don't need to have IEPs, and we don't need to have goals and evaluations and all that stuff. But the day-to-day operations, as far as what he does with, outside gross motor movement and indoor crafts and activities for fine motor and music therapy and free play time and just practicing ADLs. Like, my son is still practicing how to dress and undress himself. And I don't understand why we can't just keep that model going. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's what it certainly is best for the kids, rather than you just send them home and then they're on a wait list and they sit around their home doing nothing, hoping that there's a program somewhere that will take them in. So anyway, that's my rant about that. Again, I want you, particularly if your child is starting to get near that transition age or graduating, please start to absorb, start to process entitlement versus eligibility. It's huge. It's huge. Your child is not entitled to anything anymore as a disabled adult. Okay? Graduation, also, by the way, when your child graduates, It is considered a placement change. So when your child eventually does graduate, on that last day, you should receive a PWN or NORAP here in Pennsylvania, um, stating that final placement change. It's a placement change. So you get it's a big deal. I know it's a scary time. Trust me, I know it's a scary time. I am in the throes of this myself. But you can get through it. Just know the facts. Entitlement versus eligibility. Okay? I will put some links down in the comments because I do have a blog post on this, and then I'll post a couple of my transition links because again, take ownership of that transition plan because if you don't, no one will. No one's going to care about your IEP more than you. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for tuning in.